Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Axiomatic Lanterns, Tale of the Indigo Thief. Hey, we have it is a great and glorious day today. Today is the day that is the last day of January in parts of the world. Already January has ended, and for that we can be grateful. We're making it through the threshold, you might say, if you watch Peugeot videos. Agency deck card of the show is the Deuce. The Deuce of Hearts. Will be doing all sorts of fun things. Saving throws versus mind control. Coming right up. Good morning, Cassandra. Good morning, Neil. Hey, Steven, saying a few weeks, you're about to get them savings throws. Sanji being Sanji. Okay, wait, there's Mills up in here. Upcycle Club. Chad. Ha! You're still hot to me. Carlos Gustav. Good to see you. Chevy Chezzy, the young Levite. The Marylander himself. The symbolic summit they sent me to is in Florida, man. The symbolic summit they sent me to. And Mark Tatum up in here. Oh, look, there was Slack and Phlebas and Josh and okay, that's everybody. Welcome. Now it's time for the savings throws. Ain't that Orange Blossom Special? Okay. Oh, Brother Broseph. Good to see you, Mystic Lantern. Funny you should say that. Welcome. This is the Axiomatic Lanterns stream. I'm Grim Chris. Oh, survival. This is how this works. You pick this, or this. Survival, social wisdom, or heart, respectively. I roll the dice. If the number is over 10, you take half damage from the mind control that follows the rest of the show. If the number is under 10, you take full damage for the mind control that follows the rest of the show. And these might extend to the CW weeks, happening. You know. Survival, social wisdom, or heart. Choose. And stick by your choice. Survivalists with a 10. 10 today. Socialists, that's a 15 for you. 15 for you. Lovers of wisdom, Baker's Coven, that's a 13. That's a 13. Hard folks, you're doing so much better than the other guys. That's a 2. A 2. You're going to need your bonuses. You get a +5 for a replay comment. Indigo, guys. You don't get to see it. That's it. That's a regular disciples for you. Disciples for you. All right, savings throws out of the way, and now, remember it.
This agency. We want.
And we're skipping stones on the stream of consciousness today, seeing how many times they could bounce. They can bounce. Read that card of the show. Three of diamonds. One more to go, and then I gotta start talking. Don't forget, you can tickle the Ko-fi bot by typing in the thing, and I didn't pin it, but and I didn't share it. It looks like this. When you get there, it's fabulous. And oh, look, he made it to the symbolic summit grift goal. Isn't that great? Isn't that great? Thank you for astroturfing me. No, wait, do this one. This means that the individual's psyche is far from being safely synthesized. On the contrary, it threatens to fragment only too easily under the onslaught of unchecked emotions. While this situation is familiar to us from the studies of anthropologists, it is not so irrelevant to our own advanced civilization as it might seem. We, too, can become dissociated and lose our identity. We can be possessed and altered by moods or become unreasonable and unable to recall important facts about ourselves or others, so that people ask, "What the devil has gotten into you?" We talk about being able to control ourselves, but self-control is a rare and remarkable virtue. My serious video, aren't they all serious? Aren't they all serious? The honoratus, the honoratus of Aries is the three of the diamonds saint, according to Stephen Sainted view. Oh, you haven't done the Blue Church deck yet. They're gonna need those. And honestly, ladies and gentlemen, much to my chagrins, I think we might have to check with Miriam on chagrin. Let's do that tomorrow. Stephen Sainted view, I can blame today's stream on. So there you go, Stephen. Have some blame. Blue Church card of the show. That's the Jack of Diamonds. That's the Jack. And now the origin of the blame. From Stephen this morning, I encountered the following.
Saints that I was particularly interested in the Orthodox Church. And that's a big thing in Orthodoxy, are the saints. And so I was picking my saints. There were saints of the day that the church would give out, but often they were saints that really had no bearing on me. And I thought, why don't I do my own selection? Was selecting those, and then via Grim Grizz, this idea that I could use dice rolls instead of for savings throws in order to choose the saints of the day. I might argue that those two, savings throws and choosing saints by using the dice, accomplishes the same sort of thing. But so I was doing that, and that was kind of a revelation. And I've made a few videos on that revelation. And another person that I really sort of looked to over time was to C.W. Weeks. And I didn't really ever have any interaction to him, but he seemed like he had interesting point of view. And so I watched him, and one day I was watching Grim Grizz and do his thing or something, and C.W. Weeks was on, and someone mentioned Stephen Sainted View, and C.W. Weeks said, "Oh, he's that guy doing that psychopomp stuff." And I thought, psychopomp stuff? What is that? So I had an idea what psychopomp meant, but I looked it up. I'm like, yeah, that's this idea of assisting spirits.
Ducks eat bread.
They do. They like it.
All right, that's not the part that triggered it, but I thought you all would enjoy it. I thought you all would enjoy that part.
I'm not a cat.
Let's see if I've randomly clicked to the right spot.
So I've always been a little mystery of the TLC. Are we an informational source? Are we having a big conversation to try to get at some truth? It's a very Christian side trying to get at some truth that we ultimately know is God. But how do we do that? How do we live the best way? How in an online world, or how can we sort out what to do online that would best be in service to God? And so I thought, I think people are always, picking out their people. I pick out my saints, and maybe a lot of people pick out their favorite musical artists. And so we're always choosing our saints, so to speak. And I think in the TLC, we're in the process of choosing our saints, and we're choosing them from the living, because apparently most people don't believe that the dead are still alive in some way, which, again, I have a hard time understanding how you can be Christian and not think that the souls of these people are still in existence. Anyway, fine. So we're picking our saints, and I have Saint Pajot, and I have Saint Vervaeke, and if you're Grim Grizz and don't believe in that, then you might say, well, they're admirals. So our admirals of the flotilla are Vervaeke and Pajot. So okay, who else? Well, Pastor Paul. Pastor Paul is one of our saints. Okay. And maybe I would choose Grim Grizz if I were of the mind that when good people.
Whoa, wait a minute. What do you even mean by saints? Because there's for this magical thumbnail today, I told the AI, hey, draw me saints, sinners, and people, because I thought that's how the divide was, and I'm not a saint. At best, I'm an indigo thief, and we're going to go into that later today as part of this confessional stream. Special thanks to the Shadow Cabal of production executives that make all of this possible. That's the Buy Me a Coffee people, the Ko-fi people, and also the channel members here on the YouTubes. Like, you're all different divisions of the same Shadow Cabal. Special thanks to the Shadow Cabal. So say we all. And Slicarius would also accept mad profits. I would gladly accept mad profits. Special thanks to the Shadow Cabal. And it occurred to me that one of the few people I recognize as a saint is the artist currently known as Timothy Chalamet. But who I know is the prophet, the Saint Zacharias. No, wait, Mitch is the saint. Never mind, play the thing.
Why didn't you let me wreck your car? You knew I was gonna wreck it.
Why not?
Because it's a lot of money.
I have money. It's trust and character I need around me. Who you choose to be.
The prophet Zacharias drops those mad hits into the Broken Clock Tower Discord, which you should be able to join by clicking on the Hootenanny below. On the Hootenanny below, he's sort of a saint to me. He's documenting a new art form, and half of it is what gets documented and what doesn't. And I don't know, I think it's neat. No, he goes by Timothy Chalamet. That's the name. Look, see here, above the thing that got shared. That's what he goes by on the Broken Clock Tower Discord. He wasn't actually in the video. Okay, what's next? What's the next tab? Oh yeah, Rascal dropped a great one that is really long, but we need some long ones sometimes. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba.
That you married.
Yeah, I really did feel like slapped in the face by all the things the world says about true love and finding the one and follow your heart and just do you and make yourself happy and like all these things that are antithetical to the Christian worldview, which I had kind of gone along with before. I could now see behind it and just see how much harm those lies can cause people and how living by them kind of lands you in this place of, well, like, oh shoot, I don't know, it just kind of backstabbed me. I mean, that was the other.
That's what we call a deconstruction. And on this card here today, it says second draft deconstruction. So I wanted to point that out. McMo saying hi, everybody. And Dr. Lenny Time coming in with the secret greeting phrase of the Sacred Order of Foolish Transparency. And look, McMo is a member. McMo is a member, and so is Upcycle Club. They are clearly indoctrinated into the Sacred Order of Foolish Transparency because they knew the call and response phrase that is not Modib. But thanks for that, Lantern. Okay, so like the lady said, your first drafts can be completely destroyed.
Thing that kind of crashed down around me, like between a year, the year after it happened, was that I have the illusion of control went away, that I have no control, and accepting that. And that was tough. That was really hard.
Ignorant that virtue has gone out of it. From that unknown region, we grant they come, but not by its own blind working. Nor even were it so, could any amount of such production, where no will was concerned, be dignified with the name of creation. But God sits in that chamber of our being, in which the candle of our consciousness goes out in darkness, and sends forth from there wonderful gifts into the light of that understanding which is his candle. Our hope.
So you see there. Oh, wait, hey, you guys want a +4? but welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is the welcome. We hope you're feeling virtually not alone. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. This is the Axiomatic Lanterns, Tale of the Indigo Thief stream. And Sherry just hit on the lantern part of the lantern. It's you're a light in a framework of axioms. Do you see?
It's in that chamber of our being, in which the candle of our consciousness goes out in darkness, and sends forth from there wonderful gifts into the light of that understanding which is his candle. Our hope lies in no most perfect mechanism, even of the spirit, but in the wisdom wherein we live and move and have our being.
That used to be so popular, we don't really hear anymore, like follow your heart, right? If you just follow your heart, which basically means to act out your emotions. If you just act out your emotions all the time, you can't be a normal person, which is weird because everyone has emotions. So if you act out your emotions all the time, you won't be a normal person, even though everyone has emotions. And that's because your emotions, why is that? Is it because your emotions are, even though there's commonality between your emotions and other?
It's because people can't bear the beauty of the unfiltered light. So you need to interface with them axiomatically through the thing. And look at all those +4s for the emojis and +2s for the textual basis. Those go to your next savings throws, so you're gonna have to be here to collect them.
Other people's are not, like, they're not aligned necessarily. And so I guess you could, one aspect, say, of things like of celebration is that it makes your emotional state, your passions normal, and to the degree that they conform to the situation, so that then you can share them with other people. Because otherwise, they actually isolate you from people, generally speaking, rather than bringing you together with people.
Has had this thing of, following your heart and such, as if following your heart.
All right, there's a bunch of following your heart part. Hey, Kale, good to see you. Good to see you.
Some that does
Really, it's just the there it is. It's just the next level of kayfabe. Really. The important thing is that you are the light in the darkness for those you can shine on, and to the extent they get you to focus your light on things outside your zone of proximal influence, well, at least you're here, where we're coming together and learning about it together. And that's it's got even more wonderfulness, but I've gone too long without branding now. You'll have to hand it over to Rascal to see the rest of that.
In all our searching, the only thing we've found that makes the emptiness bearable is each other.
Some ways their faith fell apart. The stories migrated, the spirits moved, and their faith fell apart, and their community group fell apart. All of this, I did a video on common religion recently. All of these benefits that they got from common religion, belief in a higher power who could deliver, who could guide through providence, who was someone that they could call out to when they were in trouble. Their anticipation of a blessed afterlife and how that shaped this life. Justice that this world can't and won't afford. The fact that people get away with all kinds of stuff in this world and then they slip off out of this world and there's nothing you can do about it. Could be the uncle you molested you, or a tyrant who did something against you. A meaningful arena to act within. A community of mysteries to pursue.
Reality? I don't know.
Community of...
When my bird was looking at my computer monitor, I thought, that bird has no idea what he's looking at. And yet, what does the bird do? Does he panic? No, he can't really panic. He just does the best he can. Is he able to live in a world where he's so ignorant? Well, he doesn't really have a choice. The bird's okay, even though he doesn't understand the world. You're that bird looking at the monitor, and you're thinking to yourself, I can figure this out. Maybe you have some bird ideas. Maybe that's the best you can do.
And then after watching Rascal's thing, I headed over to the X Network, where one can find good old Deep Read Dan. Deep Read Dan does like this. I'll show you his little thing. Hold on, let's see if I can do this. There. Oh, it came up. There, it came up. He's a body language guru with micro-expression analyst and Jungian archetypist. We can forget the Jungian archetypist part. The important bit is the micro-expression analysis and the body language analysis, because it's like an adventuring class an adventuring party in a role-playing game. The class we don't have on the flotilla very much is the micro-expression and the body language analysis. But here I saw he supposedly does freebies every now and then. And he was doing it at a certain time in the morning, so I was watching his timeline, refreshing my page to see if I could get one of his readings on myself by the Fraternal Regiment Embodying Narcissistic Sociopathy, and he had all these fancy ones. Basically, he calls the 12 different months whether you're introverted or extroverted. So like an illuminator and Faye would be April, and April in his system, and the explorer and an orphan would be the August one. I don't know anything about that. but the body language thing we kind of need around here. And what's next on the card? Player branding. Player branding. Oh, well, first, but let me explain this branding. See, what's happening was the symbolic, wait, yes? I don't know, the Symbolic World Conference Summit thing down there in the Tarpon Springs. And special thanks to the Shadow Cabal, I've been able to secure funding to go and represent this little bubble. This little bubble in the VIP room, and I will be sporting one of these fancy Fallen Virgin Lobster Monkey Goose shirts, which you can get in the shopping links below. And then I made an appearance over on Grail Country stream, where I hear several of you were waiting even though this stream had started.
What's his name? Somebody made a great comment on the way that I was describing authenticity is more integrity, which is probably true, but it's just being honest with yourself. People in whatever stage they are and wherever they are need to be honest with themselves.
Okay, so it's the integrity of your axiomatic propositions that's part of the lantern.
I don't think that that's going to end up with everybody converting to orthodoxy. I think the church, I believe in these absolute generics that then become particular, like Christ, the church. But like in my video of the church is just whatever is living and transforming into proper being. Like that just is the church in my understanding. And so and it's very much the Hegelian idea or the Christologic idea of Maximus that Jordan Daniel Wood always talks about, the identity of identity and non-identity. Do I believe the Orthodox Church is the church? Yes. Christ is found there and not there.
The light of Christ shines through it all, 'cause God is omnipresent.
So people are going to do whatever they're going to do. That quote.
Cost savings, bro.
And now the important appearance I made on that same stream before I started streaming to you guys over here. Way. Much like Pajot, I got to give them some savings throws. And then I lost my spot. Son of a. And hard folks. Well, that's a 14. Secret thoughts. But first, by the power of StreamYards, which you can find a referral link at the bottom of my whatnots, man of my dreams, I can cast this also to my channel as anyone else who has StreamYards. All right. And, anyway, I go on. It's fabulous. I'll give you a link at the bottom. Oh, wait. There it is.
The list? Yes, any of the first level ones.
I'm gonna get a soda. Anyone want one? Hey, Graham, I'm not in the room, right?
What room? I want to cast Magic Missile.
A room where
I'm attacking the darkness.
Whoa, and now I can't find the next thing I was going to play. So, no, now the membership thing, I like there's high levels that get special perks, but like most of the stuff, it has to be like nothing important, but still kind of nice as a gift to the members if you join the channel. But since I don't like to exclude people who can't afford to be members in this monetary beast system, here's that video. Here's that. So I'm okay right now. It's January and somehow almost 70 degrees. This is the local lake, and you can see where the I don't know. It used to not being, but then again, there's all this growth. You know, it used to be underwater. Oh, what's that over there? How much county's in there? Anyway, I wanted to say a special thank you to the members who make this possible. So I give you a special members video. There's supposed to be parts of a town over there. It should be visible. But I don't know. It's awful reflecty. Anyway. This was one of the days I was alive. I made this video here for the people who help keep me alive via the channel memberships. Mainly you guys get to use fancy emojis, but every now and then you get a video. And then you can see it if I'm not streaming. We got a troll question in him for Baba Ganoush, who says, which brandings did you make? None of them. None of them. I once upon a time made one in OBS that pretty much just said it was I don't know, it was this. Remember it.
This agency. We want.
And it was really short, and then people were like, oh, we need better ones, and started making them and putting them in the Discord, and it turned into a fun game where even somebody named DJ Todd played. No, there's not a Shadow Cabal at the Friday Morning Nameless because he doesn't want your monies the way I desperately do. He makes his monies with tilings.
Now what'll that asshole think of next? Is anybody got a dime? I don't know.
Hey, I'm Gavin, and beliefs are powerful. Beliefs are the lens through which we view the world. And not
yes, Gavin, there are axiomatic lanterns. And fun fact, I woke up this morning to a dream in which I was being replaced, and then as a shock reveal, the replacement was Gavin.
Not only that, it is the box we place ourselves in, so that there are, or maybe a bubble that we live within, which we
get it, maybe a bubble that we live within. Maybe it's an axiomatic lantern. And welcome to the Axiomatic Lanterns and Tale of the Indigo Thief live stream on the Grimgris channel. You're part of the, even if you're watching it as a replay, you're still part of the hive mind. You just have to do in the comments instead of over here on the side where we get such these things. And if you're a channel member, you get to make the bubble if you do that without an underscore. if you do that without an underscore. Or maybe it is a bold cleanse. Good one. Out. Well done.
Can't really see outside of very well, in which we end up with blind spots. So they are powerful. And perhaps we always have a belief, right? The one which comes to mind is the belief in an afterlife. I have a nephew who died before he turned 1 year old. I saw a comment in Paul Vanderklay's video, which had highlighted something I had said, but the comment caught my attention because someone was saying, from their point of view, how could God allow a 2-year-old to have cancer? And so I felt that.
Together.
God and talking about these different kinds of things. But I think there are a lot of people out there that aren't. And so they hear, they see a light in the darkness. And the light in the darkness says, I feel like you feel. And I think that's really good. But I feel sad for people because I feel like what happens when the gas runs out on that song? What happens when you're the things that yet again the next savior fails you? And here it is again. Here's a new one, and then yet again it fails you. It's like,
and this is what's happening in America right now.
Why would a guy in Tbilisi, Georgia, know what's happening in America right now? This was the part I was there. Here's how to find it yourself, by the way. Here's also how to find it yourself. You go to this little corner of the internet, this-little-corner.com, and then you got this search box. And you can type in the search box and find what you're looking for, just as demonstrated here today. And which was, I had to come play now because we're
making these little molds, these little wooden molds. And I was just using this electrical saw to make these little wooden molds. And then the power went out and everything was dark. And I told the people, don't worry, the saw will keep working. And the saw did keep working, even though the power was out and it was an electrical saw. And I kept making these little wooden molds. And, well, what were these little wooden molds? Well, in these little wooden molds, we would basically put light. And so I was giving these little wooden molds to the people of the church and sending them out as light in the darkness. That was the dream.
Click more and click more. Okay. Welcome, everybody. This is the Axiomatic Lanterns stream, Tale of the Indigo Thief. And I think we've pretty much covered the Axiomatic Lanterns. Does everybody out there get it? It's like Indra's web, if you're familiar with that, except instead of balls of reflective light, they're lanterns of reflective axiomatic prepositions. Right? And so that everybody gets it.
Special thanks to the Shadow Cabal, so say we all.
And if you want to join the Shadow Cabal, you can join the channel, do the Ko-fi.com bot, tickle it. It'll say something in the chat, I bet. And, okay. So on this card for what's on the show today, we have second draft deconstruction as well as existential frame breaking right there. You see, and that's the last part of the lantern. The lantern is your existential framing. And for example, You can be framed as a sinner who's like trying to repent their way into something, or you can have the axiomatic frame that you're just a up-jumped monkey who's being a slave to the archons, or you can have the axiomatic frame that like God sent his light into the darkness and you're here to shine, shine, shine. You know, those are all axiomatic lantern frames. And you grow up into one that you as a child, that's your first draft, and then you smash it and rewrite it at your second draft. It's it really got nailed pretty well on this stream from Pastor Paul, like homeroom yesterday or the day before. But this guy, he clipped Duke that went over it real nice. And his axiomatic framing was like the Christian thing. So be advised.
Is people go through the first 3 stages of Christian spiritual development. They hit the wall. They have some kind of experience of pain and suffering. And rather than go through it, they jump ship to another, I'll just use the word religious system. And I mean that in the more Keller sense of like a system of beliefs, ideas, values, practices that give meaning and purpose to life. That could be the 3 most common that I saw in Portland were third wave anti-racism, all things LGBTQ and pride and kind of ally kind of worldview, activist worldview, and then careerism, kind of like work is God. Those are the 3 most common alternative religions that I saw in Portland. So people jump ship and then they go back and they start at phase 1 again. It's awakening, but now it's a different religion. And so it's like they're born again and they're just on a high and they're in this.
Their axiomatic lantern was crushed and reshaped.
Honeymoon phase, and I can't believe it. I never saw before, and I never realized this, and I was blind, and I was dumb, and I was lost, and I've been saved. It's basically a salvation motif. And then they become a life of discipleship. Then they're learning and they're reading and they're taking all of this information in. And then the productive life, then they're doing things and they're leading things and they're saying things. And it's just inevitable that people will hit the wall again. And then what? So in the critical.
But of course, the most important thing we got from that homeroom was this.
I listened to him. I think he is telling us the truth. That is indeed what he wants. Those of you who are sort of sniffing for duplicity or grift or dishonesty, I don't smell any of that here. I think he's telling us. I see this guy. I see both of these guys, but I see this guy as being very, very genuine and honest. He is telling us exactly what he thinks.
Okay, and also on this card is makes sense to me, and basically the way that works is like I can see it when I'm shining. It's like not blocked by my axiomatic proposition lantern. I can see it reflected back to me, and it makes sense to me, and then I can that light shines out this way, and maybe it makes sense to you. I don't seem to make sense to many people, but enough of you think I'm making some kind of sense to astroturf me. And in case you don't know what astroturfing is, somebody made this.
If you pay somebody to go through internet making nice comments about your company and your product, that is astroturfing. Yeah, it's comments about a product, a service, a policy, which appear to come from ordinary members of the public. But in fact, they don't. Yeah, they come from actors or people who are working for the company. Yeah, it's like orchestrated marketing or public relations, making people think that, well, everybody supports this. Yeah, and that's the idea. Idea is to present things as unsolicited comments, to make something look like community mobilization.
Oh, look at my lovely green lawn, also known as the Hive Mind chat over there. Thanks, Kale. Thanks, Kale. Okay, what else do we got? We have, okay. All right, this is the, this is a long one.
So say we all. Yuck, yuck, yuck. Ho, ho, ho.
This is the tale of the Indigo Thief, the Axiomatic Lantern stream. I'm the Axiomatic Lantern Griswold Grimm, and we have Rainbow Evolution on the card. And yes, that's the next part. And it's the tale of the Indigo Thief. So let's go into that. The Rainbow Evolution is essentially that first of all, you have there's basically the really convenient way to view your selfness as a self is a self that's a juggling of 7 spheres. Like you're juggling 7 things. And of those 7 things, one is survival, one is social, one is yourself. Survival, self, social, heart, wisdom, and then indigo. And like we're in the heart, we're yellow, we're social to heart level. So like some stuff comes down from the top, and we've built up this far from the bottom, and we're at the heart. And you can choose to open it or like shine outward, or shine it like close down your axiomatic lantern into yourself, prison of yourself, and shine it only on yourself. Those seem to be the options, and it's a variable dilation of how you spend your love, but we still have the wisdom and the indigo coming from the top. And that's the Rainbow Evolution. You break. That's why I was so happy Homath put it in the chakras chart. He chakra colored it. And those are the 7 different balls we're juggling, and your consciousness can slide up and down that chart as your focus of concern. Like I'm really concerned with surviving or myself or showing love. Your concern can go up and down the Rainbow Evolution of the chakra chart. Dun, dun, dun. Yes. And then we got the tale of the Indigo Thief part. Okay, so that is going to come right after some more branding. Maybe this one's the most appropriate for that. Did that one already. Oh yeah, you guys are astroturfing me up on top of the 4th wall. So here's this.
Approaches are that's where the alignment is between Grimm and I.
Okay, so what is bringing down the 4th wall project, Grimm?
A terrible spell. And part of that spell, the humans have a campfire circuitry. For whatever reason, probably because it. So like, the television engages that, and like that's when your tribal elders are passing on information and stuff. So like those things are hijacked and make everybody feel like they're audience. And like if you watch characters in series that do break the 4th wall, and that's what the 4th wall I'm referencing when I do it. It's the wall that behind which you are audience and not a human. So.
Okay.
Hashtag paintball for Jesus, @GrimGrizz, hashtag break the 4th wall.
So like you do like break the 4th wall that doesn't exist and be like,
break the 4th wall a little bit.
You really helped me break the 4th wall. Like, it's just people.
Good poetry is definitely always trying to break the 4th wall.
Always tried, as GrimGrizz says, to break the 4th wall to the degree that I can.
Okay, and then also on this card is rejection, resentment, and rebellion. And so that goes deep into this. Like, let's see if looking at the camera is actually like not looking at the camera, because anyway. So the way it goes, the way it went, if you mind it, the way it goes, the way it went is I had this birth name, and when I found out the meaning of the birth name, I immediately rejected it as I am not that, and as being not that, and feeling deprived of being that. It self-reinforced itself into a new self named GrimGrizz that plays on the internet, and he's an indigo thief. You see, and the reason it's called Indigo Thief is because there's this Tool song called The Pot, and it references the chakra system, if you're paying attention, and it mentions cozened indigo, and so cozened is kind of conning people out of, or it's stealing basically. So that's where I stole the indigo thief thing, which brings us to you're delivering on the tale of the indigo thief. And what happened was that Steven fella from this morning nominated me for sainthood, and as a rejection of that, I immediately ran back to the temple of Seshet. And no, I'm not a saint. I'm a sinner. See, look, I'm breaking this purity code. And but that let me slide back into Grimgris, because I've been I've been not being Grimgris, and just kind of in D&D terms, it's like I started multi-classing from an indigo thief to something else. I'm not sure what the next class is. And as part of leveling up as the new class, you don't use your skills from the old class or something. Whatever. What this? And okay, and that came from the rejection of and rejection builds resentment until your frame breaks. Your resentment gets so intense that it melts your axiomatic lantern because the suffering gets intense. And okay, that's related. Yay! And resentment, rebellion, and rejection. So I rejected the thing and made Grimgris, and in the rejection of the rebellion, Grimgris found a light to shine. What? Okay. And the reason also, finally, on the card, is the Watts curse. And the Watts curse is when all your axiomatic prepositions have melted down and you're in intense suffering, you reach and grab for all sorts of different things to make new axiomatics, to make a new frame for your lantern. And one of those I found was an Alan Watts clip collage video from somebody milking him for money. Views, clicks, ads, attention. And let's save it. Let's save the Watts curse for after some more of this brandings.
One thing is sure, a great change of our psychological attitude is imminent. That is certain. Why? Because we need more. We need more psychology. We need more understanding of human nature, because the only real danger that exists is man himself.
And whoosh.
I don't want to know how things are to be. I want to exert action as long as I live, so that the sort of things which should, in my opinion, be, have more chances of being. If they're all set, it doesn't interest me anymore to see the year 2000, and it interests me to see the year 1000. The merit of the future is that it is not set. The merit of the future is that it is not set. The merit of the future is that it is not set. If they're all set, the merit of the future is that it is not set. The merit of the future is that it is the area in which we can exert our will, exert our efforts, and try to validate our values. That is the merit of the future.
If you do understand Hinduism, let me know, because that Shiva dance that they do at the CERN really disturbs me. It really disturbs me, Luigi. Let's see. Parabola. Let's see. What are we doing? We're doing we do the Watts curse. Okay, so you're grabbing for new axiomatic propositions, and one of them was this Alan Watts video, and he was like, what would you do if money weren't a thing? And just keep doing that until you get good enough at it, and then they'll pay you for it. And so I heard that was an axiomatic preposition, and I took that and I said, what would you do if money weren't a thing? And I was like, well, I'd screw around on the internet. I'd get high and screw around on the internet. And after 6 years or so of that, we've gotten to the point where people send me to events where we make sunshine.
Please don't take my sunshine.
face. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we've done it. I had fancy dreams about going an hour long so that, or an extra hour long, so that I could make it to the Fancy Pants premiere of The Guy Who Hates the Corner, as seen on CW Weeks, which I only find by searching CW Weeks. And even though it's Christian Diaspora, his channel doesn't come up. What does come up, however, is this new little project, this corner.hub, where that video of CW Weeks is.
The fact that, well, again, like, you know, I find myself.
And then you can find the channel thanks to the hub by clicking the link in the description. And it takes you to the actual channel where you can watch his one video or set your notifications for the upcoming live stream in 106 minutes. 106 minutes. We're closing out the show today, but before we do, I wanted to highlight somebody I haven't highlighted in a while, and that's that Dolly lady, who also has a very expressive face. Brendan.
Hello. Okay, it's not meandering, but some a bit extensive. I am going to make a small short video of the chapter in The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron Mystery, and this is just the intro, and I want to just in the intro I want to mention this awesome one line. If you take anything away from this book, it is this: the creative process is a process of surrender, not control.
I listen to him. I think he is telling us the truth. That is indeed what he wants. Those of you who are sort of sniffing for duplicity or grift or dishonesty, I don't smell any of that here. I think he's telling us. I see this guy. I see both of these guys, but I see this guy as being very, very genuine and honest. He is telling us exactly what he thinks.
In all our searching, the only thing we've found that makes the emptiness bearable is each other.